I actually had to pivot my talk from some future technology that was kind of looking at the different technologies that are going to enable different kinds of experiences into this position just because of the scheduling. So we're just loading up the slides, and I hope all is well. Most of it will be video-driven. There's a few interesting clips that I wanted to share, and hopefully all goes well, and hope you enjoy my talk. So, all right. Where are we? OK, so a little quick history. I've had 20+ years of computer graphics. I've been in it since I was 12, building 3D engines. And I wanted to make a 3D editor, and we were doing stereoscopic with red-blue anaglyph. And it was kind of this place where I really loved it, and I really enjoyed it, building this. But I've also been entrepreneurial. So back in 2006, I had launched a company called Conquer Mobile. Back at the time, it's gone through some name evolution. And what we're doing now with Conquer Mobile is developing education as an experience, medical training, and that sort of stuff. About 2013, the reason why we started going down education as an experience was actually because all this VR stuff hit. And so I'm like, where's the meetup group? Who's out here? So I started Van VR in Vancouver, and it's grown to 1,500+ members, and it's pretty lively. What's been really exciting is that the Vancouver VR scene has just exploded. I can barely keep up with it all. Who here has actually left their job to pursue a passion? How many people have done this? Okay, oh yeah, all right, I'm a good company, all right. So that's basically what I did with Steampunk Digital. I was like, okay guys, you're in a good direction, but I can probably help with the R&D better by spinning up a new company. So this is Conquer Mobile today, and some of the medical tech that they were up to.
Started off doing consumer apps, and then we transitioned to building mobile apps for business purposes. So what I'm showing here, this is Periop Sim. It teaches operating room nurses what instrument to pass to the surgeon.
Conquer Mobile is now focused primarily on health and safety. Periop Sim, surgical training for nurses, industrial enterprise safety, for example, mining, right through to building a Parkinson's app.
In the medical field, it's a really interesting area where there's a lot of promise.
At Conquer Mobile, we talk about education as an experience. We're bringing together our gaming expertise, UX, mobile, simulation, virtual reality, and creating an immersive educational experience.
They can use the active learning before they go into the real scenario. With VR, we're taking it to the next level. The students are getting really, really immersed in their working environments.
Great job.
Our simulation gaming background really helps us develop many hours of education play, make it engaging and exciting for learners.
Right, so I spun up the VR product development at Conquer Mobile, and we created a VR lab and grew that out. So that was Angela Robert, our CEO there. And then I was like, okay guys, I'm gonna go and work on this VR thing full time. So yeah, it basically became an R&D budget thing. So I could either spend $250,000 to $1 million on VR, AR, and MR R&D, or I could go off and make a new company, do what I love, employ more people, and feed back some of the learnings and technology back to Conquer Mobile over time. So it's actually kind of a win-win scenario. And Conquer Mobile is developing its business and its customer relationships. So it's been really great. So what is future business with all this new tech coming on the horizon? I would argue it's a matter of the constraints and efficiencies and everything that goes along with it. So oil supplies are going to be increasingly depleted. We all know this. This is going to be, we're either going to kill the Earth or we're going to just run out of it. And hopefully we don't kill the Earth. So we're all moving to sustainable energy. But we're also kind of thinking about ways of reducing our travel footprint. So instead of physical travel, we're just going to do more technology. It's more convenient. Like, Now, how many of you go to the movie theaters and get kind of like, ah, man, this wasn't a good experience. I totally would have enjoyed this more at home. I mean, like, hands up. I'm tired of the theater, like crap, and I'm gonna start enjoying this at home. Or, sometimes if the theater is awesome, you actually go out to the theater for the experience of it. So the other part is robotics and AI and machine learning tech is following Moore's law, actually, and then some. So instead of an 18-month cycle, we're seeing doublings in performance and capabilities within 6-month cycles. So we're seeing more, like Google's TensorFlow compute hardware has just like jumped a couple of orders of magnitude of compute capability for machine learning. And that's going to be accessible on the cloud infrastructure. So there's big players that are kind of going for your machine learning buck, and they are making this all available. And the robotics side, that's real hardware that's going to make a real difference. So I'm going to skip through some of this stuff here. I would say at the end of it, there was so much to learn that you just can't be on top of it all. In my discipline, in computer graphics and virtual reality, there is so much new stuff that's coming out. There's just no way I can learn it all. Compute shaders, surface, PBR rendering technologies, all these things are like whole new stacks of domain knowledge. So if I can't do it all, how do I do it? Machine learning observance of what I need when I need it, and then peering other people onto you. That's where it's going to start coming out of all these technologies. So what kind of near future businesses can we do with some of the technologies? And now some of this stuff is being enabled by 3D depth cameras on mobile devices. And so this is pretty cool. If you want to take your real world, ingesting your real world into a digital domain, you could use something like this today. It's called Canvas.
Canvas is a groundbreaking new application that allows you to capture a scale-accurate 3D model of your home in minutes, all on an iPad. Here's how it works. First, attach a structure sensor to your iPad and launch the Canvas app. Next, start scanning. Canvas captures thousands of measurements per second and combines them into a single 3D model you can use instantly. You don't have to anticipate every measurement or view that you'll need, because with the 3D model, you'll have all of them.
The great thing about Canvas for us is that we can take any of our employees, send them out to a site, have them capture the whole thing, and we have all the information we need without error.
A raw 3D model is powerful, but if you want to make changes using professional tools, you'll need a simplified, editable CAD file. That's why we built a new, first-of-its-kind service right into Canvas. We call it Scan to CAD, and it converts your raw 3D model into CAD within 48 hours.
When I got my first CAD file back, I really wasn't sure what to expect, and when I saw the file, I couldn't believe it. It was so accurate, so thought out, everything was in perfect layers. I can rely on Canvas and Structure Sensor to provide me with more information than my brain would even remember to take a look at.
Clients of all levels want to see 3D modeling. Now that we have Canvas, we can create that same level of project and of presentation for all of our clients. I think it would pay for itself in one project.
To make real-time 3D mapping possible on the iPad, we had to create new hardware and new software. First, we created the structure sensor, giving mobile devices scale-accurate depth sensing. Next, we're introducing a new 120-degree wide vision lens, which means you'll experience our most stable motion tracking yet. And most importantly, we've upgraded our mapping algorithms. We've gone from enabling you to scan objects to now allowing you to capture entire spaces. For the first time, it's actually easy to turn a physical space into data. Space is the new digital asset that you can store and bring with you wherever you go. Canvas is available now at canvas.io and on the App Store. And we can't wait to see what you do with it.
So this is tech. You can buy this off the shelf. You can deploy it at work sites. You can just map entire large volume spaces. Occipital is not the only one in the game. There's others like Matterport, and I'm sure there's other like photogrammetry. The neat thing about this is because the depth calibration of the actual, it's like a miniature Connect. Because of its calibration, those measurements are pretty tight. So that's cool. I also work for them, full disclosure. I'm doing some projects on Bridge Engine, which is full-on mixed reality on your iPhone. I would love to show you this video, but we're tight on time. So how do you take like a canvas, like scan to CAD, and then take it up a level? So these guys with LNG Studios, they actually focus on, they have a office here in San Francisco, but they focus on that kind of higher level experience, like where they can do up something that hasn't been developed before, or nothing to scan because it doesn't exist yet, or they can take existing scans like a scan to CAD, and then they can dress it up and put in some creative interior design elements. There's Vancouver for you. So this is showing it with a HTC Vive, but the reality is that with ARKit and a lot of the 6 degrees of freedom positional tracking on board mobile phones, you can start to just fire this up and walk around and kind of experience the space. There's a few things that are going to enable that kind of walk around and viewing ability, and that's, like Meta 2, and I'm sure Daydream with like some of the Occipital's tech they just announced with Monoslam. I'm sure if there's some ways of integrating these basic elements that are available on market today, we're going to see probably within the year, we're going to have this ability to experience the architectural pre-visualization in your room or in your living room and on commodity hardware. So what about the engineering side? Like, you have an engine that you need to clad, and you have to figure out aerodynamics around that. So Finger Food Studios opened a place in Vancouver called the Holodeck, which is this massive warehouse, and they actually drove a truck into, and they're doing tech with a HoloLens.
So Finger Food Studios, we were founded 7 years ago as a video game startup. Over the last 7 years, we've kind of caught up to the front curve, the front edge of technology. And we've actually pivoted our business away from making video games into transforming industry process that leverage our skill sets. As I've said, we've been writing AI and artificial intelligence for 20 years, but we're taking those skill sets and rewriting systems and businesses processes using this technology. Same thing with holographic computing and HoloLens and augmented reality. We've been working in 3D for many years. And so we already think in 3D, we solve problems in 3D. So we're kind of repurposing that talent for these much more higher value jobs. As a business, when I first started, we actually took advantage of a price arbitrage. And we moved beyond that. We're now taking advantage of a knowledge arbitrage. We know something that the rest of the world doesn't. And we're exporting that know-how around the world.
So they've been doing some cool stuff. And then finally, Microsoft is really championing. I didn't really understand HoloLens until their tracking got so good. And as a compute platform, the elements of the UX design around and the business cases that go along with it became really clear to me. They're focused on things you can do where your hands are occupied doing the thing, and someone or something is helping you with the thing that you're doing. So they focused on like machine vision detection of objects and scenes and setups. And this whole thing with Skype on HoloLens, some of it's kind of fictitious. There's a little bit of a Microsoft marketing baloney, but it's also bang on in what's possible within the year. And in fact, actually, if we were to slap Microsoft Skype on, Holo Skype on Bridge Engine, we could do it today. So.
I I think the possibilities are pretty unlimited. It's most useful for instructional, collaborative, and social scenarios. Anything where you can say, hey, how do I do this? Help me wire up this light up card. Anything that's DIY. Anything where you say, let me show you.
So we all use Skype, we love Skype, and Skype on HoloLens is a communication tool.
Skype on HoloLens, we can actually take someone who's remote from you, bring them into your space, and let you experience that together in real time.
Everybody has had something in their house that they've tried to repair and didn't quite know how to do. So Skype on HoloLens, the other person does not need to have a HoloLens. They could be on a tablet or a computer.
And we both can add things to the world together.
As soon as they answer, they can draw on surfaces and they can add images and move them around. And I also have those tools. For the light switch, when you try it and the light turns on, you know you succeeded. That's when Skype on HoloLens makes the most sense.
Before diving into building apps for HoloLens, one of the things to think about is that you're not building for a flat screen. You're building for your world. You're augmenting your world. You're mixing holograms into the world that already is.
If somebody said, I want to start designing an app for HoloLens, grab something like Unity, start building anything in 3D. All you have to use is our APIs on top of that.
The way that we take experiences that exist today and push them into a HoloLens where they can be mixed reality and a part of your real world is amazing.
Building apps that leverage your world is a really great way to broaden your horizons. It's just a ton of fun to learn what is possible.
So that's cool. Microsoft has the whole package. They own Skype, they built the HoloLens, and they're helping enable a lot of very advanced future tech to become real. What's interesting about their development release cycle, they're skipping like V2 and they're going straight to a V3 of their HoloLens product, and that's cool. That's exciting. So a lot of like interesting business cases are becoming enabled by a lot of this core technology, and so the thing that actually convinced me I really should spin up Steampunk Digital was an advisor who basically said, hey, maybe aliens will just probably first send their robot AI to discover Earth. And when you think about it, that makes sense. We're kind of doing that already with our probes and stuff going to Mars. And then they'll remotely teach us how to communicate. So when you think about it, we're really enabling the future for ourselves and for, who knows, going beyond the universe. So I don't know if I have time, but
we're going to have to move on.
Right, guys? I'll catch you later.
But yeah, let's give it a round of applause. Thank you.